Hello, everyone. Welcome to Build Series. I'm HuffPost Lee Blickley, and we all have a soundtrack for our lives, right? Well, the new Netflix series soundtrack looks to take that idea and spin it into a romantic musical drama connecting the lives of random people living in Los Angeles. Life, luck, love, and lip syncing intersect in this creative show starring Paul James, Campbell Scott, and Jahmil French, who will join us after we take a look at this clip.
Every song is a love song. Let's start with the songs about desire and longing.
Stand by. Crashing.
Songs about the struggle to find love.
I'm so in love with you.
Falling in it.
I just want you.
Heartbroken over it.
I got thick skin and then I left it for.
Oh, she's so sorry. Every song we have ever heard, it tells us love. I'm Sam.
Nellie. Whatever happened to passing someone on the street?
Are you on something? Yes.
Feeling that thing. That hairs on the back of your neck, adrenaline rush.
The second that we touched, we both felt it.
I think you could be the one.
Aw, Elle, I'm so happy for you.
This man here is in love.
You know when you hear a song for the first time, it hits you right here?
Your music. You gave it up.
We're an artist, right? You dream about it.
Some people don't get their dream. It's never going to be perfect, ever.
I don't believe in perfect. I want mess and complications, and you only get that with the good and the bad.
It's been an accident.
I love you. I'm worried that it's not going to be worth it for you.
Till it destroys everything.
Listen to your own voice.
Things are gonna happen. I just want to be next to you when they do. Sing from sadness, sing in joy, sing with faith, because each one of us has a soundtrack. And it tells the story of all we have loved.
Let's welcome Paul James, Campbell Scott, and Jahmil French. Thank you guys for being here. Was that very strange? Do you guys like watching yourselves on screen, or is that the most awkward thing?
I love it.
I was gonna Adam Driver and just walk out of the studio, but I understand that feeling.
Yeah. And when did you guys shoot this? Has it been a while since you completed the project, or?
Yeah, I mean, funny enough, like we started the project. Well, I mean, I did anyway. 2 years ago, you know, when we did the pilot, and so now it seems like time is kind of flown by. I mean, it's like, you know, finally here we are.
Yeah, doing press. So what was it, Paul, for you about the script that really spoke to you and made you want to go out for the role of Sam?
Well, you know, I just I'm not to be like smart, but I mean, I just sort of auditioned for what my wonderful agents send me on. You know, I'm not choosing my projects, but I thought this was really well written. I would have been happy to have been a cop on, you know, a Dick Wolf show, but I'm lucky enough we get to play deeper characters with these big emotional ranges, and also music was a pretty big draw. Big music fan, so.
Yeah, so for the audition, I know you guys lip sync in the show, but did you guys have to sing and dance for the audition just to show off that?
Did you guys?
I mean, I just danced just because I wanted to.
I don't think Campbell auditions, by the way. I think Campbell gets offered things.
I auditioned sometimes, but this I did not. No. Yeah. I guess Josh knew me somehow from something. He's a New Yorker, and I'm a New Yorker, and I don't think anybody thought or knew or maybe even still thinks that I could sing or dance, but I gave it a shot.
Yeah, how was it? Is it more awkward to, you know, sing on screen or lip sync on screen? Because it's a different kind of, you know, twist that they made to the show is like all of our favorite pop hits or ballads are there, but you guys are lip syncing to them, but using them within your storylines.
My personal feeling is what makes you nervous is what's good.
Yep.
And so being a little out of your own, like Ja is a great dancer. I don't know if he's a great singer or not. So I'm not sure if the singing made him nervous or not. Plus, you're also singing to other people's and oftentimes songs that you admire or at least know that are rather famous. So that's intimidating right away. Of course, me and Madeline Stowe, we play the sort of the upper echelon, and I don't mean in status, I mean in age, on the show. We got some of the older artists, artists from the 60s and 70s and 80s, and Marianne does too as well. And so that's fun, so you can get a whole range of musicians and songs that we recognize even from old soundtracks in our head. And that is intimidating at first, because you don't want to look like an idiot, and you don't want to look like you're just copying someone either. You want it to have some sort of like something behind it. Yeah. And so to me, in a strange way, the music, although the music and the dancing, which is fantastic, and these guys are amazing at it, and we all do well, is sort of the what pops in the series. To me, it's like the scenes and the story is, if you don't have that, it's gonna suck. So, and that's the first thing I said to Josh. I said, if we don't make that fly, nobody's gonna care. And I think that's where they did most of the work, and that was the most fun. It's like realizing you're with a bunch of good actors, challenging them a little bit, the creators, the whole time, and seeing what would happen. And so I think if you watch, keep watching, because I think it gets better and better. Yeah.
Because each episode kind of adds a new layer to these relationships. And now, of course, the first episode starts with Sam and Nellie, who's played by Callie Hernandez. Yeah, Hernandez. So tell me about the first episode and how we meet Sam and what's going on in his life. And we'll kind of go down the line to get to know each of your characters.
It's man. It's so hard to talk about this show without giving things away. But I guess when you meet Sam, he has lost his wife, and he is moving back to Watts from a nicer place in L.A. He's kind of fallen on hard times. He's got to take care of his son. So he's trying to figure out how to juggle all that and still give his son this wonderful life. I think that's what he's struggling with. So he's definitely, you're catching Sam kind of at a low, and he's got dreams of getting back to where happiness is for him, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And then, of course, there's your friend Dante, who is you, Jahmil. Cousin.
Primo.
So tell me about your relationship on the show and your character, and what was exciting to play.
Yeah, how do I talk about this without giving stuff away?
Some mysteries you don't want to ruin.
Yeah,
which is, good.
I mean, look, what I could tell you is we're family. What I can tell you is that, Josh has given us a story that just permeates real life. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like, after the audience gets a chance to really watch the relationship and watch it grow, I feel like there's more than enough content there for people to to relate to. Yeah. And so I feel like that's sort of the heartbeat of at least what my character has going on with Sam and everybody who he encounters.
Yeah, we're cousins, but we're kind of like brother cousins. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when you watch the show, Dante's character has just gotten released from prison. I think you can say that. Wow. And so we see the strain of the relationship and what that's done to our relationship. Yeah. That's a big part of our story.
And there's a lot to explore there. Is that exciting as actors to play out something like that? And it's, like you mentioned, something that really resonates with an audience who might be experiencing something similar.
Yeah, I love the Dante-Sam relationship because it's like Sam has so much love for Dante, and at the same time he's got a son, right? And so the health and well-being of his son supersedes kind of Dante in his mind, especially at the beginning. So he's sort of juggling these two relationships, which can be very complex.
Yeah. And how was it for you to play a character who's struggling and then figuring out, even getting out of jail and figuring out your new normal and how to pick up your relationships from there?
It's fun. I mean, as an actor, as an artist, these are the kind of roles that I seek for, and I was just very fortunate. Because I auditioned, when I got the audition, I was like, oh yeah, I was like number one. I could just I felt a connection to the character. That's sort of one of the main things that I look for is do I care about this person? And once you care about the person, it makes your job pleasurable to really just get in there and create and do your job.
Yeah. And you also get to work with Christina Milian, which never hurts, right?
Ay, Dios mío. Coño, did it get hot in here? Is it? Woo! The shit, Christina's awesome. I mean, funny story, quick story. Before I had got the audition, I was on vacation in Barcelona, and I was in my Airbnb, and I'm watching on my iPad, Love Don't Cost a Thing. Yeah. And just in my mind, I just had this feeling, I'm like, Nick, I could do this. I could do this. I should be doing this. I kid you not. Couple months later, I'm like, yo, that can't be. I'm like, I'll be damned if I don't keep up with my vision board. I'm like, this is wild.
This is fate.
Amazing.
No, did you tell her all this when you saw her on set?
Oh, I played it cool. No, I was like,
know any of this.
Your name? What's your? Yeah. I'm Ja. Oh, Christina, Millie. Oh, good to meet you. Yeah. You know.
Well, I'm sure seeing people like Campbell Scott on set and Jenna Dewan, and was that cool for you guys to work with some people that?
It was crazy. The first day of filming was me and Campbell and Madeline in like a 7-page scene. Like the first thing that we filmed at all, and just getting on set working with these two. I mean, I was nervous. Yeah. I was. It was cool, man. You know, it's the thing I think I like about acting the most is getting to work with all the different people. You know, you got Isaiah Givens, who, I think he's 8 years old, playing my son. You learn so much from him in the scene. You got Campbell and Marianne and Madeline, Amy Irving, James McDaniel have been doing it for a while. You learn from them. And it's just fun to have those relationships, you know? Yeah. Yeah, and it's cool. It's cool, especially my character. He doesn't really have parents, so Madeline's character and Campbell's character kind of at different times will become like a father figure, a mother figure, and he's never really getting along with both of them at the same time. So it's sort of like, which one am I connecting to? Okay, you know, and then he looks to them for parental guidance, I think.
And how is that for you, Campbell, to play? You play Frank, who's a father to Nellie. And you guys have your own interesting relationship where she seems to be taking care of you.
No doubt.
As much as you're maybe taking
Yeah, you know, he's the elderly child man who is relatively charming, I think, and also has his real flaws. And I encouraged Josh not to run away from those, and Josh encouraged me back. You know, I like to challenge somebody like him because he's smart. And he already has a good idea about who the people are. And so every time it gets easy for him, I say, okay, well, now you want him to be charming. I don't want to be charming. Or now you want him to be really flawed. No, I actually want him to be incredibly vulnerable or honest for 2 seconds. To me, that is going to engage who's ever watching because that's the way life is. You know, you may think you know who you're dealing with, no matter who it is, and you don't quite. Makes good drama. And then the songs kind of level, make everything level for a second. Like everybody can feel what those things feel like. But then you snap back to what may or may not be true or real, you know, between the people. And that, to me, and we kept that going. It was very hard, you know, because you're filming 10, and you're kind of filming them all over the place. You got different directors and all that stuff. And so it's Josh, really, who's the showrunner as well as the creator, who is keeping that consistent. And so we challenge him. We challenge him all the time. Just like, I don't believe this, or I really want to do this. You know, I don't want to hold back or whatever. And to his credit, he was, I think, 99% of the time like, go ahead, you know, which was great.
Yeah, is that important for you as an actor to be able to talk to the creator or the showrunner about your own thoughts and be able for him to take them and give you?
Oh, it's
you
a
know,
must.
Work together.
Otherwise, you're in a nightmare.
Yeah, I also think Campbell got away with more than anyone else did.
You're like, I couldn't do that.
No, I mean, I think Campbell. I mean, you know what? Campbell would be like, yeah, I don't want to say that. I'm going to say less. I'm going to say less. And then I'd be like, I'm not going to say that.
Big on saying less.
Right, yeah, you are. And I'd be like, I'm not going to say that. And Josh was like, no, you're saying that. I was like, all right, well, worked for Campbell. I'd give it a shot.
See what happens?
Right.
And, you know, it's an interesting concept that Josh created. Of course, he's worked on Smash and Gossip Girl. And were you surprised by the direction he wanted to take the show in with including music and having that be an aspect? Or was it cool for you to be able to lip sync to actual You know, so like the first lip sync is Sia and Elastic Heart, and I would be like freaking out. But it's so cool because it speaks to what we do throughout our own days, which is music pops into our head, and we wish we could like break out into song, but you guys actually do it. It's a cool concept, very different.
Yeah, I think the way Josh explains it is that when you hear a song, you hear that person singing it. You know, you don't hear yourself singing it. Yeah. So he wanted to honor that. And thank God he did, because I can't really sing. So if I had to be a singer, I would not be a part of the project. So yeah, I'm glad that we got to lip sync.
Lip syncing was probably hard enough, right? Did you have to listen to the songs over and over to make sure that you got the exact punctuation right?
And like yeah.
And you do have to sing them. That's like the first thing you learn is that you can't just mouth them. If you mouth them, you'll never do it right because you got to kind of breathe like them or whatever. So that's what you're listening for is like, I actually, even if you're not a good singer, which I'm not, you know, you're on set with a bunch of crew members and you're like, all right, I guess I'll be singing this song right now. You know.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, Marianne killed it, man. She's got a great voice.
That's right.
That's great. Don't expect that from me.
I'm going to try my best. Did you guys have a say in any of the music that you wanted your characters to perform?
I sent Josh like 100 songs. He ain't pick one.
None? He's probably like, the music rights are very expensive.
No, I think, you know, he knew what he wanted, you know? Like, before, he had been working with a music supervisor, I think, for a year before, and so he knew. The only song that I got to have a say in was Smile, the Nat King Cole one. And then I think I gave him the idea for Talking Heads. I think he told me that. I think I can say that Yeah, he was trying to come up with one, and I mentioned Talking Heads, so.
That's awesome.
And that's one of my favorite numbers, that Callie kills that one.
Also, the process of what they go through, it's like, even once they pick the song, then they got to get the rights, then they got to do that, you know. It's a long time. And then you might lose the rights, like right before you're filming. A couple times that happened. So they got to have B and C choices and all that stuff. And so it makes for excitement, that's for sure.
And then everything's pretty much choreographed, too, at least all these performance numbers. Are you good with choreography?
Not necessarily, no. But I'm not bad either. It's like these are things you want to be pushed to do. And the wonderful James Alsop was our choreographer, and she's done all this crazy stuff with amazing artists. And so you begin to trust that. You don't know when you first go, you know, and then you watch and you see. I build my trust by watching people with other people. You know, I can't tell with myself because I'm always reacting or something. But if I see someone, and if I see a director or choreographers, and I say, oh yeah, they really are dealing with them really well, or they're solving that problem really well. Like, okay, now I get it. Now I get that person. Yeah. And everybody on our team, I don't think anybody disappointed in that way at all. DPs were great. Everybody in Chicago was great. So
yeah,
it's hard. It's a grind. Crew. I mean, this is like making a musical like this is a because you have all those extra steps, not just doing the scenes. You're trying to do the scenes and give them as much, you know, as you can. But you're like, oh, and at 6 o'clock we got to do a huge, you know, dance number with a bunch of people.
Did you feel that way too? Were you excited about the choreography, but it's also nerve-wracking, but it adds so much to the show, of course.
Yeah, it was tough. You know, I think we figured out a lot of things this year. I mean, you're shooting a regular show, and then you have choreography rehearsal. We would have lip sync rehearsal. We'd have lip sync coaches. You know, we'd have. It was a lot, and we were shooting all out of order. But like Campbell said, we had amazing people working with us. Choreographer James, she would be on set yelling positive things during all of our, numbers, which we really need. You know, and she's, I mean, one of the pillars of this show. We couldn't have done it without her.
I'm sure someone like Jenna, too, could whip out her dance moves and teach you guys.
Let me tell you, Jenna Dewan is the ultimate professional. She got pulled on set early because people were sick. I'd lost my voice, cranking out scenes, monologues, you know, with no rehearsal. She can pick up choreography like that. She's amazing, really.
Yeah, Callie's the same. She's great with
Callie's
choreography.
Great too.
And Megan, too. They're all pretty amazing.
Yeah, Megan's got a whole episode, which is how much have you seen?
I've only seen the first episode.
Man. Megan is a star too.
Because I want to see Madeline. Does Madeline Stowe dance? I would love this.
Madeline Stowe dances.
Oh, that's amazing.
Madeline Stowe dances. She's great.
And of course, Christina dances. Did she give you any pointers in your scenes?
She gave me all the pointers.
Love
They
don't
mean it
cost
like
a
that.
thing.
I don't. What are you thinking, guys? Come on, we talking about dance.
But we mentioned Jenna, who is of course in Step Up, and then this kind of has a Step Up, Save the Last Dance, La La Land kind of vibe to it. How would you explain the show to somebody who might just go on Netflix, see it in their queue, and be like, should I venture into this?
I mean, I'd be like, look, do you ever watch TikTok? You can watch your little TikTok. You gonna watch some soundtrack.
You're gonna love it. How would you explain it, Paul?
I haven't figured out how to explain it.
It's
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen Step Up actually, or what was the other thing you said?
Save the Last Dance?
I haven't seen Save the Last
Never
Dance.
seen Save the Last
man.
Dance.
I've never seen
Paul.
Gossip Girl or Smash. I've seen a couple episodes, so I don't know how to.
Did you see La La Land?
I did see La La Land. I did not care for La La Land. I did not care for the ending. I didn't like. Why are you going to make us watch something like that during Christmas and then they don't end up together? I did not like that movie.
Never give us that happy ending anymore. You know?
Yeah, it's like in these times we could use a little happiness.
Yes, it's so true. I watched The Wedding Planner the other day, and I was like, you know what? They end up happy. Why can't we have this anymore?
Is that J-Lo?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
J-Lo, you know her? She's having a
J-Lo's
little
great,
bit
man.
of a
I saw
moment.
Hustlers on the
Yeah.
plane. She's great.
Season 2.
Yeah, let's get J-Lo season 2. J-Lo, are you watching?
But yeah, Campbell, it's hard because there's so, with streaming platforms and network and premium, and there's so much content out there. It's hard to pick and choose shows, let alone, I'm sure, for you guys to do a project, but then to also promote it and make sure people get to see the art that you worked on. It's probably an interesting time for you to see, how everything changes.
Yeah, I wonder. I mean, I was theater first, then I did a bunch of independent movies. That's how I made my living. In the old days, you could make a living from independent film. Now you can't. Doesn't mean they're not made, just means you don't get paid, which is fine. Those are usually love jobs, always were anyway. But all those people and all those writers and all that talent have gone to cable now. And that's an interesting world, too, because now it's not just 2-hour product. It's 6 hours, it's 8 hours, it's 10 hours. So that's something for my old brain to wrap around, like not playing a character just for 2 hours. Rise and fall, whatever you're doing, make your point.
Yeah.
That we have to figure it out, like, I can't repeat myself, and yet I have to give kind of the same information so that people keep following. I know when I binge, I want if I fall in love with them, I want more of the same.
Yeah.
But I also want to be surprised. So that's a hard line to ride. And I'm not sure you even get it in the first season. Like all the greats, I mean, unless it's sometimes Fleabag, sometimes they'll nail it for some reason. But that was based on a one-person show. So already it's been tried in some way, you know what I mean?
I mean, some of my favorite shows like Parks and Rec, it's like or The Office, the American version, they're not even good the first season, It's
fascinating.
Like the Wire, like the first episode of The Wire is so boring.
So right, but
It
as you
takes
stick
so
with
long,
the
but
show.
once you get in, it's like the best show.
Yeah. It's interesting because we used to watch shows like one at a time, and now we get to binge them. Yep. And then you get to the end of a season instead of the end of an episode, and you're wanting more.
Yep. Yeah.
Will there be more soundtrack? Do you guys know?
I sure hope so.
Do you know?
I don't know. I wish I did.
I sure hope so. People. I don't even think we've spoken enough about Callie Hernandez. She's so wonderful.
She's great in this.
I mean, she's just a star too. And I hope we get to do it again. I think these characters are all pretty cool.
I can't imagine it won't get better in a way that will surprise us.
Yeah.
It's fine now. Not fine. It's so good now, or that's my feeling. But I also feel like it can be surprising, in a way that we can't talk about right now.
Even
we can
the first
talk about
episode was.
We can talk
Yeah.
about like, and that has music and it has this and that. But as these actors and those people all start to really mine it, and Josh figures all that out, that would be great.
It really is. I think we also know how to do the show now. We know, I think Josh figured out how many songs is too many to try to do with the schedule and how to pare it down. And I think it's I think it gets better as it goes on. I think it's pretty great.
It's good. There are
Biting off a lot, but it's unique. It's attempt at trying to make that unique or special is a little bit different, which I think is a good idea.
We have some questions. First is from Twitter.
Good Lord.
To the soundtrack cast? Here we go. Do you have any input in what songs are used in the show? What songs would you like to be incorporated into your characters' journeys?
I tell you, man, I think it is better when dealing with Josh to just let him do his magic, you know? Because you could be like, oh, I got all these ideas. I'm going to write your own show. Like, this is Josh's show. Maybe during season 2, some of the things that we've all talked about, we'd like to maybe he'll incorporate. He does like to incorporate from our lives. But this is kind of Josh's show.
And maybe it's a good sign. We all did get excited at one point or another. Like you said, you sang them. We all did get excited at one point, like, oh, maybe you should try this song or try that song because you know your character a little bit, you know. And none of the songs ended up on the show, but it's early. So I think that was good that we got invested like that.
Yeah, and also as more musicians or artists see the show and see what you guys are doing with their stuff, maybe you guys will get a bucket load of songs next season.
Yeah, there was a lot of people that did not let us use their songs, I think. I don't know a lot, but there was a
There were some, and I think because they were unsure about, like, well, how are they really using them? But once they see it, I think they might be like, oh that's
cool.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Especially in the age of lip sync battle, you need more songs. I think we have a few questions from the audience.
Hi, we have a question from our site, and is what have you learned from being on set that you've taken and applied to your own lives?
Drink lots of water. Woo. I mean, look, working in Chicago in the cold, you're doing what, 12, 14 hours a day sometimes, and you ain't drinking water, it just don't work. Yep. I mean, it's real simple. I mean, I don't know how else to say it,
Water is life.
You gotta drink a lot of water. I caught myself very dehydrated, tired and stuff like this, and I was just like, look, man, the real foundation of life is water. Got nothing to do with acting or nothing like that, but you know what? If you don't drink water, you're going to have some problems, so stay hydrated, people. Stay thirsty.
And Chicago is deceptive because it's cold, and you think you don't need it, and of course, you're dying.
Yeah. You guys have any life lessons that you've learned so far from your careers? Drink water.
I mean, I don't know how to answer that. Yeah, I think every project I learn a lot about myself, and how to navigate it and learn how to be better for the next time. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of things that I learned, but I'll keep them close to myself.
Yeah. Keep your tips close. Well, thank you guys all so much for being here. Thank you guys.
One more thing.
Make sure to watch Soundtrack.
But also, if you're in the New York area, A Christmas Carol through...
Yeah, Campbell Scott,
Campbell
A
Scott's
Christmas
playing
Carol.
Ebenezer Scrooge. I saw it last night. It's amazing. You got to see it.
He's on double duty today.
Might
He's
be
running
sold
off
out,
to A
but-
Christmas Carol after this, right?
Try to see it.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, make sure to see A Christmas Carol if you're in New York. And, of course, check out Soundtrack, which is on Netflix. Thank you guys so much, and good luck with the
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.